Welcome back. Minister for Culture Fortuna Belrose has appealed to members of the public to adhere to COVID-19 guidelines and management efforts during Creole Heritage Month celebrations. She said keeping celebrations within the family unit is also in keeping with tradition.
The pandemic has impacted the way cultures all over the world observe customs that draw mass crowds. Disconcerting yet necessary postponements and cancellations of traditional events are being made to mitigate COVID-19 transmission risks. Fortunately, organizers of Creole Heritage Month here in St. Lucia have found a way to observe the 2020 celebrations in adherence to national protocols by targeting the cornerstone of society, the family unit. Jeune Creole Lakainu is this year's event theme, encouraging residents in St. Lucia to celebrate with their relatives. Minister in the Ministry of Culture and Creative Industries, Senator Fortuna Belrose, says this approach is not only COVID conscious, but is fundamental to Creole heritage promotion.
If you know the history of Jeune Creole, when it was initially designed and thought of by the Folk Research Center, what the plan was always to reach the point where families embrace this, and the true spirit of community came through. And I think what we're seeing this year with the advent of COVID and the build-up over the years is a design, to make that happen. So this year, hopefully, we will see lots of families gathering and participating, but keeping it within families.
Officials are not opposed to a family from multiple households celebrating together once they observe the protocols. Since the island registered an increase in local cases of COVID-19, the protocols have been reviewed. Mass crowd events have been reduced from 500 to 100 persons.
I expect families to invite each other to come to their homes, but I think we must be mindful of the protocols with respect to the COVID. We encourage people to ensure that they have below 100 persons in their activities. That is the rule. Our police will also be very vigilant on that day, we've been told, in terms of ensuring that there are no mass gatherings beyond 100 people. But the focus, like we say, we want you to encourage and to push is that we celebrate within our community, within our families. So it is not unusual for a family to move from Soufrière to Vieux-Fort to Dennery to go and celebrate with their family, but we want them to keep it within the family and maintain the numbers.
Complementing the family-sized Jeune Creole celebrations, Creole Heritage Month organizers are now also rolling out a slate of virtual events and activities to promote Creole heritage in St. Lucia.
The president of the Vendors Association says with the newest cases of COVID-19 all pointing to in-country transmission, proper regulations need to be put in place, especially in the provisions market. He is calling out for a meeting with all relevant officials. Genevieve Gonzague reports.
The newest cases of COVID-19 have raised alarm bells in every sector of society. President of the Vendors Association, Peter Rasaipa Isaac, says he is very concerned about the well-being of vendors and potential buyers at the market given community spread of the virus.
I'm extremely concerned, especially people in the provision market, the new market. This market is really clustered in terms of, and from the beginning I told them that, and they didn't put in the requisite protocol in place. They just opened the market and allowed the people to go in there, just chock-a-block. And that was something that was really concerning to me, and we brought it to the attention of the mayor, but he didn't do anything about it. And now it's even more concerning. Now we have a lot of in-country situation. People are coming through the back door. Vendors are traveling on these transports coming from the rural area and so on. So we are extremely concerned.
He lamented a lack of engagement between the city council and vendors.
They have not met with us in any way, or apart from the manager kept saying to individual vendors, why don't they come out and sell? Why don't they go and clean up their booth and come to sell? Without having a discussion with the association so that we can make sure, and they could make sure, that the protocol is in place. You know what I mean? The gates, the point of entry, the entrance, you have maybe wash basins or someone placed there with the hand sanitizers and so on and so forth. All the necessary protocols to put in place.
Isaac says on their end, the association members are going to meet and ensure that they all know what is expected from them when it comes to protocols and regulations for COVID-19 at this point in time.
For a matter of fact, we have already planned later today, we will talk to the market vendors, especially those at the provision market, to give them, make them, well, if they don't know yet, aware, because they're in the market almost every day, so sometimes they don't have enough time to listen to the news, the current situation with the COVID in St. Lucia. So we want to also give them a heads up on that, so that they could take all the necessary measures that need to be taken to protect themselves and to keep themselves safe, and also the potential customers and buyers that will be, that they're expecting to come and purchase.
He has also made a call for vendors to take personal responsibility for their health and that of their families and customers. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzalez.
Now, Market Coordinator Augustine Victor has responded to the concerns of the Vendors Association.
As the number of COVID-19 cases increases, so does the concern in various sectors of the society. Vendors, as well as the president of their association, have expressed a myriad of issues which they would like to see addressed by authorities. Market Coordinator Augustine Victor says the executive of the Castries City Council has registered the concerns of vendors and measures have been put in place to ensure their safety during the COVID-19 pandemic.
We have put things in place where we have our city police around within the market, the free market, and we also have our security in all the different little points, like the food court area, by the new market, provision market, and we have sanitized. We're sanitizing people's hands and ask them to put their mask. And we ourselves all in the market to ensure that some people in the door, they just put the mask, but when they reach inside, they take out the mask. So we have the police all around and ask people to make sure that they have the mask. The vendors, I also every minute go into the vendors and let them know that they must wear the mask, and the customer must have the mask when they interact with the customers.
Victor says, as with anything, there are some delinquent individuals who will intentionally not comply, but he says there is a fix for that. He, however, made an appeal for people with sanitizer sensitivity to work with their own.
Some people giving problem, and you have to show that we are serious. So the people that refuse to obey law and order in the market, we have no choice than arrest them and bring them inside and do the job, because it is law that you have to wear your mask. And some people, when you try to sanitize their hand, they tell you that this sanitizer does not go with them. So I'm urging St. Lucia, if you know that when you go into the market that you will not want us to sanitize your hand, then work with the sanitizer that you have that go in with your hand, and then you have to show the police or the security that you sanitize your hand in front of them.
The market coordinator says during the upcoming week, continued consultation will take place between the Vendors Association and the CCC to ensure that they continue working collaboratively. Members of the public are reminded that the same protocol which must be followed everywhere on island, such as the wearing of masks and the sanitizing of hands, obtains in the marketplace. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Jenny Fonda.
Despite the decision to temporarily withdraw the Mabuya Valley senior male football team from all sanctioned events pending the outcome of ongoing COVID-19 investigations, the president of the St. Lucia Football Association has indicated that there is no need to stop the sport in its entirety. He says for now, all protocols will be followed as directed by health officials.
One of the confirmed cases of COVID-19 from Oleon Dennery is a member of the Mabuya Valley senior male football team. Following this discovery, all team members were sanctioned to take a COVID-19 test, and the St. Lucia Football Association has temporarily withdrawn the team from all sanctioned events pending the outcome of the ongoing investigation. President of the SLFA, Lyndon Cooper, has indicated that the goal is not to stop the sport entirely.
I'm not sure that there's any concerns over the future of football. What I can tell you is that we take our cue from the government, by extension the Chief Medical Officer, and when the country was finally reopened, they gave all mass crowd events, including sporting organizations, a list of protocols to comply with. If we were going to have had any concerns for the future of football, we would have sat down and keep our hands up and say, well, let's shut it down. We have an organization to run, and unless the country is not going to shut down, closing down for football is not on the table.
Cooper explained that in the last 4 or 5 months, the association has invested substantively into their sport and the teams that play national football in St. Lucia. He says, since the sports sector was given the go-ahead to recommence activities, the SLFA has ensured that all protocols are adhered to. However, he indicated that members and players have been advised that the preservation of their life is their responsibility.
We have been responsible. On the return, what we have done is to ensure that nobody works except the managers 5 days a week, and when you walk in, you would have recognized we have instituted a number of protocols in terms of temperature check and the sanitizing of hands. What we have also done with our teams participating in the national competition, our girls and our boys, we have introduced the same measures. We are also invested in giving all the participating clubs 500 masks as a start, and our 19 districts have also been given. People's health is their personal responsibility.
He says it must be appreciated that the association is also a place of employment, and as such, any decision to stop sporting activities will have a major impact on many individuals. Reporting for Hot 7 News, I am Genevieve Gonzaga.
Stay with us. There's more after the break.